This school hard knocks fight is an amateur bout in the 145-pound weight class and is brought to you by D&D Oil Field Services, our official cage movers for the School of Hard Knocks 16. And now, let's meet the fighters. He's fighting out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Please welcome Andy Jack.
Andy Jack making his way to the cage from the Winnipeg Amateur Mixed Martial Arts Association as he comes in 23 years old, 5'11" is Andy Jack. And Jeremy, this is a guy that has been training for a while, building his skills before stepping into the cage.
Yeah, absolutely. Just what we're talking about. His coaches didn't want to rush with him, but you can see from his skill set, again, when we were watching him warm up, the skill set is there. He's going to be able to do really well. He's very confident in his ground skills, which I know is something that he was very confident, and I know he wants to take this fight to the ground.
He also said he feels very comfortable in his stand-up and would hope to knock a guy out. And, I think every fighter walks in hoping to knock a guy out, but when that debut happens, I think sometimes the training kicks in and you go to what you're most comfortable with.
No, absolutely. And one of the funny things about Andy Jack is those Winnipeg guys are actually, they have the beard contest that's going on. And Andy Jack mentioned that he was trying to grow a beard. And as you can see, he's been working on it for about 23 years. And it's just not growing in.
And his opponent. He's fighting out of Edmonton, Alberta. Please welcome Ryan O'Curley.
Ryan O'Curley now making his way down to the cage out of Pix Martial Arts in Edmonton, Alberta. 26 years old, standing 5'8". Both of these fighters weighed in at 145 pounds last night. And he says that fighting a much taller opponent is going to be a challenge for him, but he's got a game plan.
Yeah, he's looking to bypass that reach, get inside. You look at 5'11", 5'8". On average, that's about a 4-inch reach advantage. Now, when you're talking those jabs with that left hand, you look at Andy Jack will be able to fire that off. So Ryan O'Curley looking to dodge, get inside, take his opponent down, and bring him to the ground.
In the Power Dodge blue corner, it's his amateur debut. He's 23 years old, stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 145 pounds, fighting out of Winnipeg Academy of MMA. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Andy Jack. And in the Boston Pizza red corner, it's his amateur debut. He's 26 years old, stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. He weighed in at 144.8 pounds, fighting out of Pix Martial Arts in Edmonton. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Ryan O'Curley. This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Elvis Lyons.
Fighters, gentlemen, to the center of the cage, please. I want a good, clean fight. Give it everything you got. Come out swinging. If you're going to touch up gloves, touch them up now.
Some intense looks on the face of Ryan O'Curley out of the red corner. And conveniently, the trunks match the corners. That's the first time I've seen that happen here at Hard Knocks. Red trunks out of the red corner for O'Curley. Blue trunks for Andy Jack as they meet in the center of the cage.
Yeah, you look at these two guys, and both of them are really intense, both making their amateur debuts, so it looks like they're going to feel each other out. You know, both of them, not like the last fight where they came out swinging, and right away the action goes to the cage.
And you could see Ryan O'Curley trying to duck that jab and get in there and get up close to the cage. He was able to do so, but Andy Jack landing the best of the strikes so far with a knee to the midsection of O'Curley.
Yeah, and it's very important for cage control, especially with a Muay Thai background, and you can see they're in a Muay Thai clinch, both throwing knees there. I really think, though, that Andy Jack from Winnipeg is getting the better of those exchanges. Looks like those knees have a little more technique to them.
Jack also cutting off the cage for O'Curley a couple of times now going forward, throwing a couple jabs, almost visualizing punches he wants to throw when he gets close, and so far hasn't able to connect with any punches, but like you said, Jeremy, probably got the better of the strikes in the early going.
Yeah, and if you look at Andy Jack, he's a very intelligent fighter, and Ryan O'Curley is just coming forward, trying for that takedown, but he's not coming at an angle, and I really think that Andy Jack's going to come, and what an exchange of moves.
Catches the kick, does Ryan O'Curley, tries the takedown but winds up in the full mount. Andy Jack lands some punches. Now you can see him working the jiu-jitsu, trying to get the choke as he's got the back. Needs to flatten his opponent out and is trying to do that. Almost successful now as Ryan O'Curley tries to fight that off. Both hooks now in for Jack.
Yeah, Jack's a little high right now, but he does have those hooks in, which will prevent coming. But if those hooks come out, and now he's got his back here, so he's going to be nice and patient. He's not going to rush this one, and he's going to try his best to just lock it in.
Tries to lock in the guillotine choke right here in front of us. You can see Ryan O'Curley's chin is down, and Andy Jack trying to press that in. Wall walking attempt here from O'Curley, unable to do so. Does drag the arm off the chin now, and Jack looks to work to get it back in there. And O'Curley's managed to work one arm in, is still flattened out with the hooks in, has Andy Jack.
Yeah, O'Curley has a really good defense, this rear naked choke here. He's breaking the grip first, and that's the most important. And you look now, back to the mount goes Andy Jack. The last time he rained down a flurry of punches, and I'm sure his coach is going to tell him next time, you got to slow those down and make sure they land. 100% accuracy is most important.
And again, continuing to land punches from the mount, and in a dominant position is Andy Jack. Ryan O'Curley trying to progress here, just 10 seconds remaining in the first round, and Andy Jack spending it on O'Curley's back for the majority of round number one. A good round there from Andy Jack. Good defense in the mount from Ryan O'Curley as we look to go towards round two.
Yeah, if you look in the Winnipeg corner here, they're nice and calm. They're trying to keep them down here, and I guarantee that's what they're talking about, is controlling that action when you're on that top position. That top position, that mount position is so rare, and getting it, you have to take advantage by getting control and making sure every one of those blows count.
Again, a good round from Andy Jack. Again, we see the red corner take the stool. The blue corner goes to a stand. We'll see if that trend continues throughout the evening. Again, a little bit of psychology there on both sides, Jeremy. What does it say to your opponent if you get to a third round, you refuse the stool in the first, but you take it in the second?
It just means that you got to him in the second round. But you know, with stools, it's just really fighter preference, coach preference. You know, you shouldn't read too much into it. Some coaches like their guys to stand, some like them to sit down. Greg Jackson is a big believer in making all of his guys sit down. We all know how good of a trainer he is.
Round number two, as Andy Jack in the blue trunks takes on Ryan O'Curley in the red. O'Curley comes in, tries to throw a combination, neither really lands, and he finds himself with his back against the cage. Jack lands a knee. O'Curley looking to defend, and a nice takedown there from Andy Jack.
Yeah, if Ryan O'Curley wanted this fight to be on the ground and he thought that he could be confident there, and looking at his defensive skills from the first round, you know, that's not a bad idea, but he's got to find a way to get some offense if he's going to end up in the bottom. And again, raining blows down, and there's an opportunity, and this is looks like it's going to be. No, he did get the hooks in to keep him on his back.
Andy Jack looked like he was going to go for the arm bar at one point, and he's got his choke on again. We'll see whether or not Ryan O'Curley can defend again, wall walking. And there's the tap. The fight is over. Andy Jack gets his first win as an amateur. Ryan O'Curley falls to 0-1 after losing to a rear naked choke. Andy Jack's offense just too good when he got to the ground.
Well, and you could tell definitely the difference between these two fighters, and we're going to go
While
to our
we wait for the official decision, whether you're looking to compete competitively or you just want to get fit, Estevan Combat Sports and Fitness offers an awesome workout in a friendly and supportive environment. Courses in Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and MMA, as well as kids classes and women's self-defense. Classes run Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 9:30, including women's self-defense on Sunday at 2.
So just waiting on our official decision here, and it looks like we have it.
The official decision is in, brought to you by D&D Oil Field Services. The winner by tap out by rear naked choke at 53 seconds in the second round, in the blue corner, Andy Jack! Andy, come talk to me for a second. So, you were a hockey player, is that right? And you moved to MMA so you could continue to compete. How did preparing for this fight differ from preparing for a hockey game?
Well, there's not really a risk of getting knocked out in a hockey game, so the motivation to train even that much harder for a fight is there, definitely.
Now, how did you handle the competitive pressure of getting up in here and doing what you do best in front of all these fans?
That goes to my teammates at WAMA and my coaches as well. They prepare me, they get me ready.
And who made this win possible tonight?
The win? All my teammates at WAMA, my coaches, Curtis Brigham, Lindsay Hawks, all my friends and family. Thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks, Estevan, for having me.
Let's hear it for your winner, Andy Jack!
So Andy Jack gets his amateur win in his amateur debut. And on the other side, Ryan O'Curley will have to go back to the gym and maybe work a little bit on his ground defense from the bottom.
You know, his ground defense was okay. I would say that. The problem is, you look at these two fighters and their styles, and you could look at Andy Jack and you could see that he had that great stance. Every single move he did in the standing was very calculated, very well done. The technique was good. Where, you know, Ryan O'Curley was more of just a straightforward bully as it is, and pushing people forward. If Ryan O'Curley wants to advance and make himself better, he needs to really focus on getting himself into great position. Positioning is 3/4 of the battle when it comes to stand up and being in the right position to be able to do techniques. And you saw Andy Jack do a great job of it. And Ryan O'Curley has a future. He's really tough. But you know, that's something that he really needs to work on, is the specificity of his technique.